Hey everybody, welcome back to the Tribe of Nerds. Michael Austin and I are here for week one of Survivor Australia versus the World. We're finally here, and these three episodes did not disappoint in terms of the content. However, as you can see, we're kind of in mourning right now for our three boots. We've lost three massive players, especially considering two of them are people that I've at least talked to, and Michael and I interviewed one of them, so it's kind of upsetting for that.
But as I said, this is the Olympics of Survivor. We're gonna lose big people every episode. And you know what? As sad as it is to lose big players, if the episodes are this good, fine. And I'm perfectly happy with the amazing caliber of players we still have left.
True.
This was such a fun week. It's very rare. This season has been built up and talked about for so long. It's been delayed and delayed and delayed. And my expectations were so high, and for it to deliver on those expectations is actually crazy. And the episode 2, we're going to get into it, I think is an all-time great Survivor episode, one of the absolute best. The strategizing, the scrambling, it was difficult to keep up with. It was so crazy and kept chopping and changing. Mad.
Yeah, absolutely. Austin?
Yeah, I mean, Michael took the words right out of my mouth. Every episode's something new. I swear to God, everyone's got their game plan and playing some type of game. Even if they're coming in and just kind of like letting the game flow and then figuring it out, everyone's got some kind of agenda. I mean, we're going to go episode by episode, but certain people are shocking me in different types of ways, as if either they're not playing as hard as I thought or if they're playing way harder than I thought. And I mean, episode 1's just a crazy start as well. So, I mean, I'm ready to dig into these first three boots, though, definitely a little shocking. But again, like Michael said, this is basically the Olympics. We're gonna see some type of star go every week. So
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I mean, yeah, there's people that are more low key. Obviously, we kind of all came in here with a few people that we didn't really know. I mean, you guys haven't watched Lisa. I did watch her game, but we'll get into her. And then Cass and Tommy, none of us know how they were gonna play. So we'll kind of get into
One of them's doing very well. Can you guess which?
they are.
Yeah. But yeah, what were you gonna say, Austin?
Oh, I was just gonna say I'm interested in seeing what you have to say about Lisa because obviously, like you're the only one who's watched her. So I'm interested in seeing your opinion on how she's playing versus how she, played her first game because she's definitely playing like interesting to me. I'll say that. So
Yeah, I agree. We'll get into her as we get into the episode. So let's kick it off. We got to talk about this opening because this is probably my favorite opening in a Survivor season, aside from US Heroes versus Villains. Like the epic nature, like the airplanes landing, they're like, wait, someone's on the runway, and Shonee's just doing her Shonee thing, walking with the Shonee anthem, the Shantham playing in the background. Then you have Luke hiding in a bag. You have George going through like a metal detector and being like, nobody has played better than I have, and cut to David with like the European Union theme playing for some reason, and David's just walking through and then driving the truck, and nobody I know because I think him and Parvati just got off of Dondi, so Deal or No Deal Island, and so nobody expected David was showing up, so that was genuine reactions, I believe.
Yeah, he said in his the Drop Your Buffs episodes they've been doing after with Nick and Rickard that like he didn't even tell Luke. Luke was genuinely surprised to see him. So there was no pre-gaming if we can believe the Golden God.
did they all know, like going in there, that David was on there or no?
I don't think so. I think genuinely the Parvati, we'll talk about it, lets it obviously slip, and that's how we get that tribal council, but I think genuinely nobody knew.
Yeah, that was a great intro. I mean, they went all out on it to really get the theatrics of both of our, sides. I loved it.
Yeah, I loved it. I don't know, the quote is definitely George with my ass has doubled in size.
Some of the things George does this season, man.
Yeah, his quotes are still always memorable, but like, yeah, George, I told Michael before we got in recording, George definitely does the Richard Hatch in All Stars where he just does not care. and like legitimately is just like, I'll just be ostentatious and as crazy as possible, you know, and that includes just causing a bunch of chaos.
Do you really think he didn't care though, or do you just think he kind of got like put himself in the spot and then he finally was just like, I'm winging it?
Maybe it's that, but I don't know. It just, I guess the similarities to me are like Richard Hatch and All Stars, but it might, he probably did still care. It just was like, he had such a massive target on his back going in. So
I think he definitely cared, but I think he made a decision to just be the George character, to go out there with all these big players and be George. Like he's not going to shake the target. He might as well lean into it, and it semi works for him early on. But yeah, I do think he cared. I just don't think. I think he knew he wasn't going to make a real good run at it again. It's how could he? On the introduction as well, yeah, absolute top tier introduction. It was the classic Survivor Australia, kind of cheesy in the most heartwarming way possible, kind of silly, and we get right from the beginning the setup for this episode with the confessional from Rob saying, you know, I'm going to give these people a devil of a thrashing courtesy of Africa. And this episode really sets up Rob, his story from beginning, middle, and end at the end of the episode.
Yeah, I love that confessional from Rob. I wish it obviously his journey lasted longer because we've talked to Rob, and I was just so excited to see Rob Bentley get another crack at this because his game, his first time, was incredible.
Yeah, he really needed like to play again, and I was very excited that he got the opportunity because he was probably my favorite other than Shane in South Africa. So like,
yeah,
it was awesome getting to see him play, and I'm excited to talk about his episode too.
Yeah. Well, let's get into it. So we get to our mat, the players walk into the mat. You have the Australians being super excited. We then get the world coming in, and everybody's like, ooh, Cirie, ooh, Parvati, ooh, Rob Bentley is a unit.
He's huge.
Yeah, he's massive. Like he's
doubled in size since his first season. His arms are like just insane. I've never seen anything like it.
Yeah, he is like just insanely strong looking. Like it's insane that he is gonna be our first boot because like you would genuinely believe this guy would dominate any challenge he's involved in. But yeah, anything else interesting from this mat chat before we get into our first challenge?
No, I mean, they're just sizing each other up, really, right? I mean, someone's like, oh, it's Cirie, and Cirie says some comment. She's like, oh, they're already saying my name. I thought that was kind of funny.
Yeah.
I did love that Kirby was like, I don't watch the show. I don't know any of you people. I just found it hilarious. And, you know, Kirby, this is going to be a huge week for Kirby. And people, you know, I think Kirby's someone that people are excited about seeing again, but maybe weren't looking at in the same breath as a David or a George or Parvati Cirie. She's a one-time player, and this week is her show, and she belongs right there in that mix with the best of the absolute best. Because man, she's cold. I love some Kirby.
Yeah, and for me, we'll talk about Kirby as we go through, but she came in wanting to be the God Slayer, and a lot of that comes from Titans versus Rebels, where she didn't take Ferris out, and that was her undoing. So I think here she absolutely wanted to come in and prove that she would take out the big players. So, which she does.
That's a good angle to look at it as also. Like, that's so true. She probably, like, literally did do that for that reason.
Yeah. It's like, because she really tried to work with Ferris and work with the big threats, and it just bit her in the end. So, so yeah, we get our first challenge now, and so it's the slip and slide, crawl through, and then you have to throw a sandbag and hit a bell. Immediately you get like the dream matchup of Rob Bentley versus the Golden God David. You get the big guys, and immediately you're like, David knows that Rob has played a similar game to him, and we've all talked about it on this podcast. And like David's like, we need to work together, and basically like making a deal with Rob. And then we get this showdown, and it's so good. I love that we got to see David and Rob interact.
It's classic David. Like immediately starting to make alliances cross tribal. That's classic David, and it's the right call. Him and Rob needed each other, and sadly, it's gonna not work out well for either of them. But
Sadly.
yeah, I think that was David's best cross tribal alliance publicly that he could have when it comes to obviously having the private one with Parvati as well.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. And a little bit of foreshadowing, a little ahead. Parvati also kind of mentions it to him, like, "Hey, David's talked about you." So like, it's definitely it's a note in Rob's head that, hey, I work with this guy.
Exactly. Yeah. So, and then we are gonna see George is gonna put on his Speedo. Everybody's like, "What is he wearing?" Leading to Lisa saying that he's insufferable. And we get George versus Tommy. And my favorite quote of the episode, besides the opening, is Tommy's like, "Are you any good at challenges?" George is like, "No, terrible."
And he wins a point.
He
George
doesn't-
wins a point. He makes a really funny comment where he says, "I'm 1-0 in challenges this season."
Yeah. I mean, technically, since his team does the Aussies do in the first immunity, he's what, 2-0 this season?
Yeah, he's on a roll.
So yeah, and then, you know, other matchups. I mean, Lisa almost loses her top at one point. Let's see. I mean, is there anything else that stood out to you guys from this challenge?
I mean, the only big thing was Rob kind of going right for the chest immediately. But other than that, I mean, it was just, you know, grabs of whatever the next best was.
Yeah. And Shonee gets champagne, which is funny as the last one. I also did, even though it didn't amount to much, at least so far in the season, Luke and Tony interacting, the two kings of the jungle, the spy shacks. Like, it was so fun to have them go up against each other.
Yeah, it's just the excitement. It less to do with the challenge. The challenge is fine, but just seeing these people interact was just so much fun. And this is what an all-star season always does, and this is like an all-star season on crack. And yeah, just so exciting.
Yeah. All right, so basically the World Tribe does get one more point than the Aussies, and so we're gonna get back to camp now. And basically at the World Tribe, Rob immediately gets the 4 non-Americans and is like, "Hey, the 4 of us need to take out one of the Americans." And then we're also going to get Parvati going up to Rob and trying to make this deal. And she divulges very important info to Rob that she played Deal or No Deal Island with David, which was crazy. I didn't think we were going to get a name drop for Deal or No Deal Island because I didn't think they were allowed to talk about it. But here we are.
Yeah, I didn't think that was going to be a part of the season. I think we talked about it before in the draft as well. Like, could they mention it? And yeah, it ended up being kind of a part of the season, but David's going to go so soon that it's not going to be anything long term, I guess.
Right.
But yeah, really cool. Just as Lisa says, the multiverse of reality TV coming together. And I love, it's jumping ahead slightly, but it probably won't come up naturally. And I love when Lisa finds out about the Deal No Deal Island stuff. She's just like, spoilers, like I was gonna watch that.
Yeah. I do love that. Awesome.
Yeah, I doubt Parvati was ever gonna bring it up, but I think she's just really trying to like charm and gun ho on Rob. But I mean, we find out pretty quick in his first confessional after they chat, he's like, "Not working on my fucking dimes," and immediately he goes and tries creating a 4-man alliance, basically with, well, who is it? Tommy, Cass, and Lisa.
Yeah, the 4 non-Americans, or the other 3 non-Americans. And my other favorite part, like the interaction between Parvati and Rob, is both of them comment on their eyes hypnotizing each other. Like, Parvati's Rob's like, "I'm looking in your eyes are beautiful." She's like, "Oh, thank you, your eyes are also beautiful."
I think they play very similarly in their own like gender-wise way. Like,
Yeah.
that makes sense. So it's funny that they both try to do the exact same tactic to each other, but the only difference with Parvati is actually being legit, and Rob is like, "I know she's done this shit before. It's not working on me." So it's kind of funny.
Yeah, I did listen to Rob's exit interview, and he did talk about how he only watched the Australian version. Like, he hasn't watched anything else, so he didn't he didn't really actually know who Parvati and Cirie were, but he could just like tell that they were good. So
that's actually even funnier now. Now that I know he had zero idea, because he literally was just like reading it, like, yeah, hell no, you're just trying to play me. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Do we think as well? So this is we have to talk about Rob's game here because in theory, I think his idea is the right one. I think if I was there as a single country player, that would be my instinct as well. But it doesn't, from the edit that we saw, obviously we don't know what fully went down. We don't see much of Rob really nurturing that alliance.
Yeah.
It seemed to me like something Rob says, this makes sense. Should the four of us stick together? Okay, cool, we're good. Like, we never see any bonding moments between any of them.
Right.
So I don't know if it was ever something that was going to work when you have someone like Parvati and Cirie who are so good at getting in people's heads and pulling them to the other side. Also helps when you've got a Cirie fan girl on the season who literally says she'd throw her game away for Cirie.
Yeah.
I think almost Rob overplays it in my like POV. Kind of pushes it so hard to the point where it makes like Lisa rethink and be like, fuck it, I'll play with Cirie instead. Or because at the end of the day, Rob really could have just sat back and he'd still be there right now until episode 4, right? If he just kind of let Parvati do her thing, and who knows what it went home. But I mean, it didn't sound like it was Rob until Parvati really was, understanding that Rob's like gun hoeing the U.S. players.
Yeah, I agree. I do think Rob definitely overplayed. I think he said it in his exit interviews that he overplayed his hand at that point. He did also say that he was close with Cass apparently, but they never showed it.
Yeah,
so,
they never did. That's crazy.
But yeah,
I did say in our chat, like when we were talking about the episodes as they went out, like I think Rob tried to play the same tactic that he played on his original season, but he was playing it with players that are on a whole other level than the people on Island of Secrets.
Island of Secrets.
Island of Secrets, yeah. Who literally write down the name of someone who's already played an idol. I don't think we can put them in the same category as the Black Widow of one of the greatest social players ever in Cirie. It's just not the same.
We're not on a season with like Mabas and Mikes. We're on a season with Cirie and Parvati.
Different kettle of fish, Rob.
I think we see that theme in every episode so far of they all try to play a similar game they have before.
Yeah. So then on the other tribe, we're basically going to get David, Luke, and Janine are going to be reunited. Obviously, David and Luke also have the connections to Sarah. As we'll find out next episode, obviously, Sarah talks about how she's known David since she was 17. So we know that relationship runs pretty deep. And then we're also going to get George and Shonee. We're going to get the revenge arc started. And George is trying to get his relationship rekindled with Shonee. And we get George saying that... what was the exact line of like...
He said, I have no animosity towards you, Shonee. And she's like, why would you? You voted me out.
Yeah, that's the line. Exactly. Yeah, it's so funny. Because George shouldn't, or Shonee shouldn't, or George shouldn't have animosity towards Shonee. Like, so funny.
Shonee was like laughing the entire combo. I felt like she was like, what the fuck? What is this combo?
Yeah, absolutely. And then like we also flashed the idol that's like right behind them, and I definitely thought it was setting up either George or Shonee were gonna find it. Obviously, we'll find out Luke is gonna get it, but that was definitely my thinking with how the edit showed it. But and then I'm trying to think of anything else that happened on the Australian tribe in this episode because we're really setting up all the world dynamics for the first.
We get the fake alliance in this section building of the power bottoms, which I wish that was a legit alliance because as far as alliance names go, up tier. A classic David confessional saying that George is the ray gun of the Australian team.
Yes,
which is such a burn.
The ray gun, yes. And you, in the meantime, you have George like holding the rice bag and like turning it over and just like, what the heck is George doing? All right. Let's get to our first immunity challenge. And so this one is pushing the stairs, and then you have to build the crates that we've seen in like Heroes versus Villains, and build that up, and then fire the slingshot. And I like the callback as well to Australian Heroes versus Villains, where George is telling Shonee, this time we'll actually push the crates.
He's such a little shit. I love him.
Yeah. And then Rob is basically changing their strategy, which people argue with Rob, but I totally get what he's saying with like take the crate in the second row and just get it one level up. And people are just arguing for whatever reason. So
I think I understand both points. I get Rob's thinking of it's easier to get the top block on now and then get the easier block on last. But he does it when they're already in the process of moving the other block. So it's like, we're doing this, we're not changing it now kind of thing.
right.
So it's like changing strategy mid-challenge. It leads to a cluster of communication or lack of communication. So yeah, I think Rob, I don't think this contributed in any way to Rob going. I think that was purely down to his social game. But
yeah,
it's just as soon as this happened, I was like, we know where this is going.
Yeah, sadly.
Yeah, he needed to like drop the idea because no one was like reacting to it. Like if he really needed to realize like after 5 seconds of even bringing the idea up, he just needed to pitch it and like get to what everyone else was trying to do, because it just stalled for like a minute or four. Like it just made it look like it stalled for a while.
Yeah, it probably did. But the Aussies work better together, and we get the Golden God and Luke getting the slingshots through over Tony and Rob. So the Aussies are immune, and the world has to go to tribal council. And now we get a Rob confessional saying that Cirie is the best player to never win. That's not changing anymore. Like, yikes. So we're gonna get back to camp, and basically Rob is targeting Cirie, and then eventually targets Parvati. We get like conversations in the water. He tries to bring Parvati in, and I love how like standoffish they both are to each other at this point. Like Rob is like, who do you want to vote for? And Parvati is like not giving him the information. So it's just, this is crazy.
That's like the main red flag in the entire overplay. Like he almost needed to like not do that with Parvati, period.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if he really wanted one USA, why didn't he talk to Tony, who's already optimistic about there being more women? Like that was like my entire thing with that entire like Rob's plan after. I was like, I know you like tried to kindle like an alliance with Parvati earlier, but you literally A, just said you don't even want to, and B, you kind of know that the girls are like, you know, on the advantage side. So like, I don't know, I was just kind of confused. Kind of a big red flag. You're kind of scaring like everyone in the water too. They're like, I don't even, this is awkward as hell. Parvati's like being awkward, you're being awkward.
Right. Yeah. Michael?
I'm so confused by the way Rob approached all of this. It was very reminiscent of Russell to me.
Yeah.
It was very kind of headstrong and kind of pushy and you do this is what we're doing, this person. It was very, very kind of aggressive verbally in terms of what was going to happen. And like also this odd, like, I don't know, overconfidence of like people are talking and he's just openly laughing and he's like, I like Cirie, she's just sitting there doing nothing. And it's like, I don't know what he was doing. I really don't know what he was doing. I don't know if it was like he was freaking out and the pressure of the season got to him or something, because it was bizarre, really bizarre.
And I don't really remember him being like that in his original
No,
season.
he wasn't.
No.
So it was weird. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I think part of him was a little cocky, but I don't know. I mean, we've talked to Rob, and he was pretty humble, to be honest, when he talked to us. So I don't know. And was that around the time when he would have just gotten back from Australia versus the World? Because I can't remember. I think it might have.
Sure, but also, you know, just because this is how he was in the game doesn't mean that's how you are in real life. I'm sure.
Right.
You know,
right.
everyone has a bit of a Survivor persona. That's, you know, the entertainment of the show, and you're
Right.
going to play that up for the cameras. But yeah, it wasn't the strategy for especially like a big obvious target like Rob. Like, you can't be playing like that in a tribe with these people.
Right. Right. So yeah, also then, yeah, he mansplains to Lisa, and then Lisa's like, you know, I'm pretty sure I already won. um, so I guess I can talk about Lisa's game now. I think I talked about her game in the draft where she was like super underestimated. And then as soon as the merge hit, she's able to flush advantages and idols. She's able to get a friend to turn on like another friend, like they've known each other's friends outside the game, and make one turn against the other. To flush another idol. Like, she is very underestimated. I think Lisa, she knows how to play the game. She's a super fan. She knows everything, and she knows how to like not be seen as a threat, like how you would imagine her, because she looks like a motherly figure. So
I think this is a great week for Lisa. I really liked Lisa this week. She was one of my kind of less loud favorites, but you know, she's us. She's this super fan who's now on this beach with these people she's watched and admired for so many years, and there's a lovely confessional from her where she's getting genuinely emotional and overwhelmed at like
yeah,
she's playing with Cirie. It's can you imagine? It's the greatest dream. So I'm living vicariously through Lisa, and I think
yeah,
she's in a really good spot, and she's played pretty flawlessly so far as like in the under the radar role.
yeah,
And that's why I was like wondering your opinion, Jake, because I'm like watching Lisa and I'm definitely seeing it like, damn, she's playing like really tame right now. But if that's like her game where she does all this connecting until the merge and kind of just pops off, then I can better understand that.
yeah, yeah. She is going to start popping off as soon as the merge hits. Like, I know that if she can get rid of people's advantages and idols that she knows about, she will. So that's her specialty.
And if
Um
you can come into this game as a winner and be completely underestimated and under the radar, that's a
yeah,
very rare thing in Survivor. Every time winners come back, you've got a big target, and Lisa doesn't have it. You know,
yeah,
it's the perk of being less well known.
yeah, exactly. And then basically we get Cirie and Parvati telling Tony to vote Rob. You have Cirie just being like, vote Rob, vote Rob, vote Rob, and Tony's like, okay.
I saw I saw a hilarious meme of, you know, the Simpsons meme where Grandpa walks into the strip club and Bart's working there and he sees him and just immediately turns around and walks out.
Yeah,
It's like that was Tony in that moment. He comes in, finds out who he needs to vote for, and just walks straight away.
yeah. To me initially, I think this was great for Tony because he needs to just chill out at this point. That's what worked so well for him on Winners at War, was chilling out and at the beginning, so that people didn't see him as the crazy person that he was on Kagyan, or especially Game Changers. So, um, but
My only thing, I guess, to counter that in my POV is if you're letting Parvati and Cirie run this round as Tony, you're now giving them the ammunition to possibly fuck you over, which obviously we start to see him stressing about in the next episode. So, I mean, I guess we'll see how it goes for him, but I mean, it's like a 50-50 thing for me. Like, in the moment, yeah, I'm working with my USA people, but you also know they're more prone to maybe working with the women now. So,
oh yeah, I definitely think Tony. We'll talk about it as we move forward, but I definitely see him based on what's happening in the edit that he isn't in the greatest position still. So
He's in a lose-lose position really because the way he played episode one was perfect for Tony. Like you say, he needs to be under the radar. He can't be taking initiative in the votes at that early on. But by doing that, he's put himself in a position where he is easily picked off, and he's relying solely on America staying strong. If America doesn't stay strong, Tony's screwed.
yeah,
But what more could he do? He did what he did as a two-time winner to get through that first tribal council.
exactly.
yeah,
And
because even if he does try to turn, sorry, Jake, but even if he tries to turn the other three against the two girls, I mean, you also need all of them to tango. So, yeah, he's in like one of those spots where he's really gonna be pledging now.
right, right. So then we are going to get to tribal, and this is where Rob decides to call out Parvati and be like, yeah, you played Deal or No Deal Island with David. And he said in his exit interview he didn't just continue on the attack here. He should have just gone in a little deeper, because he says he thinks he got people's heads spinning, wheel spinning. So
He did. I actually really liked it. I think he could sense that the tide was turning against him, and he had something in his pocket that could potentially swing things back to Parvati. I think at that point, absolutely, give all the information you have, put it out there for people to know. Because if Parvati is a huge threat. If he can say, hey, not only is she a huge threat, not only is she one, she has also got this thing going on the other side. So if you're worried about me having something with David, you need to be looking over here. And we do get Parvati lying.
Yeah.
She says that David betrayed her, and that's not accurate, is it?
No, I mean, not really. I mean, I think he did like subtly maybe throw her under the bus, if I remember, but I don't think he like outwardly wanted her gone in Deal or No Deal Island.
Yeah, I think she really sowed the seeds of that story deliberately wrong, so that I'm not working with David. He tried to destroy me when he didn't.
Yeah,
I
they
would
were
like to say
working closely together. Yeah. What were you going to say?
Yeah,
Michael?
yeah, they definitely would have worked together if they both made merge. One thing just on Parvati, because it's one of my favorite Parvati moments of all time, and it's just a classic, amazing Parvati read of just knowing the situation when she comes up to Lisa and Cass, and she says, "Who is it?" and just looks at their faces like, "It's me?
Yes.
Oh my God, it's me!
I love
It's
that.
me!" It's like, the realization was so funny.
Yeah, because she can also confuse people that way and like make it so that it's like more obvious, because even if she doesn't know 100% certain based on their reactions to her saying that, now she's going to know 100% it is her.
So good.
That's her game, man. Like, she can make people just say shit by just kind of playing dumb or just asking the simple questions the right way.
Yeah, it was a very good move by her. And the other funny part, as we're getting Rob's demise, or before that, is Parvati talking about Cirie talking about out of the side of her mouth. Like, that was great. But yeah, so we are going to lose Rob Bentley here in a 6-1 vote. I do think ultimately this isn't great for Cass or Tommy, mainly Tommy, who we have gotten.
Cass.
Yeah, Cass can rebound, I think, more than Tommy can. Tommy, we just have not gotten anything from this guy.
Yeah, he's kind of there.
Yeah, for someone that's
done and said nothing.
Yeah, for someone that's being billed as like one of the greatest players, and he's from Finland, and I don't know, like, he's on my team. Like, Tommy, I'd love to see more of you, but at the moment we're just not seeing anything.
Unfortunately, it's like one of those things where I guess the edit's not really involving him at all. Like, he's probably doing decent with the tribe, right? But that's just assumptions because we're barely seeing him. So,
right.
I mean,
yeah.
That's the problem. If we're not seeing him, it means he doesn't have impact. If he doesn't have impact, why do we care? Like, I'd love to be invested in him, but I can't imagine him doing well or going deep or having anything major in the season, because if he did, we'd be getting more information from him. So it's like, at this point, I'm kind of
Yeah, it's unfortunate because like I really think with 14 people they should be showing everybody more than they are, but that's just my thoughts. So Rob is gonna go. We've said our piece on Rob. Unfortunately, you will be missed, and come back on the show, Rob, whenever. We'd love to have you back.
He wanted a unified vote, and he did end up getting one. Unfortunately, it was against him.
Yeah, sadly. So then we're gonna get to episode 2, and this is where Kirby the Godslayer is going to come out in full force, and she is basically gonna talk to Sarah and Shonee about getting a move together, and George. Like, they want to know. George wants to throw out Janine, and Kirby's like, well, why don't we just go for David instead? And basically strong arms everybody into wanting David to be the target, which is crazy. But it's something that obviously Kirby is going to be capable of, and it's probably the very right play for her based on how she's playing the game. So
Yeah,
How
for
I
sure.
just can't believe how Kirby gets away with it, but Rob just fucking destroyed it, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. It's
Because Sarah's not happy about it.
right.
You know, foreshadowing just a tiny bit this episode. She's not the most excited about how it's going against David, and
Right.
she's just like, oh my god, the entire like episode basically about Kirby, but still happens. So
I think it's in delivery. I think Kirby's very good socially in terms of her
Yeah.
delivery of how she wants something to happen, and she has very good control and reads and getting what she wants in this episode. This is a masterclass from Kirby. It's so good. This episode is insane. There's so much that happens in this like 90 minutes or whatever it is. Luke finds
Yeah.
an idol as well. Luke's the
Yeah.
guy that finds the idol. That's like another great moment in the episode.
Yeah. Luke. Yeah, that is crazy. This is what Luke's second or third idol in his Survivor career, I believe. He found one in season 4. I know that.
Second, yeah.
Yeah. I don't think he found any in season 2 actually, but
No, because he was super excited when he found one in season 4, and then he was annoyed that he played it so badly.
Yeah, I remember that now. Yeah, so that happens. We are going to get the immunity challenge before the big scramble continues, and this is where they have to throw sandbags to knock off the block after they have to use like the battering ram ladder. And yeah, I mean, I was definitely thinking the World Tribe is at a big disadvantage without Rob, and they managed to take the lead and hold it the entire time. So good on them. And again, it's a very intuitive challenge to have a battering ram, and then you have to use it as a ladder to get blocks up on like a windowsill type of thing. So I thought it was pretty cool.
the ability for the not Americans, but the World Tribe to get there before Australia and kind of get a head start, I think is why they won that. Because I mean, Australia was making it way closer than I was imagining, just based off of that last portion. Like you could tell the world was like getting a little anxious because they were coming back.
Yeah. Yeah.
They were so ahead that really, I mean, all it took was Tony to hit 1 or 2 blocks at the end there. So.
Yeah.
I did love Tony being like, "Oh shoot!" every time he missed.
Like nonchalantly, like, "Oh damn."
Yeah, I love Tony that he was able to all of a sudden dominate this challenge for his team because it was really Tony this entire challenge.
Yeah.
So
2-time Tony.
Yeah, 2-time Tony. All right, so now we're gonna get to the scramble of the Australian tribe. So now at this point, the big thing that happens is that Kirby and George are standing around, and David walks up after Sarah basically tells Janine, "Oh, David's in trouble." Janine tells David that, and then David goes up on Kirby and George, and David's like, "Okay, who is pushing for my name?" And George is like, "Well, she's right here," and throws Kirby under the bus.
So when this happened, like my jaw hit the floor. I could not believe that George said that right in front of it, and the look on Kirby's face is obviously shocked.
Yeah.
But I completely misunderstood what he was doing because I actually thought it was really smart. George has said that he wanted to keep David, so I thought his game plan is, you know what? I'm pivoting. I want to show my trust to David. This is who's putting your name out there. I'm telling you that you can trust me. I'm giving you the traitor that is putting your name out there. And he was going to flip the vote onto Kirby, and he was going to join with David and crew. But then he goes back to Kirby, and she's like, "Why did you do that?" And he's like, "Oh, I don't know what he was doing."
Yeah.
George is just confusing the hell out of me with some of the things he's doing this season. Because at this point, I was thinking to myself, I'm like, bro, George, why don't you just work with David? You two are like the literal like head targets on this tribe. You guys are just going to snipe each other out basically. So why even gun at each other? Like, and then when he did that, I almost thought the same thing. I was like, oh my god, he just called her out. Like, she's obviously fucked now. And then literally he just ran right back to her right after. And Kirby's like, what the hell? Yeah. Like, so confusing.
Yeah, this was
fairness to George. David was kind of unwilling to work with him. I think there was an opportunity later on, like that we'll get to tribal, that
Yeah.
maybe it could have happened, but it seemed like David was closed off to George. But I thought maybe that was him proving trust. We do get the amazing moment of David having to grovel and beg and go out to Kirby in the water, and he's like, "The golden god is going out to the water," and Kirby's just calm and placid in the water. It's
The
so funny.
princess. She's taking a bubble bath.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not beyond begging.
He was only in it for 2 episodes, but he delivered on the content as David always does.
Oh, 100%. That's we'll talk about it, but this is why it's like sad to get such great confessionalists, but we do get a lot of fun characters still that are left in. So I'm not too upset. So let's get to tribal, because this is where the scramble completely happens, where everything just blows up. And basically Shonee, Kirby, and Sarah are now wanting to vote David. Kirby's pushing Sarah to do it. And at one point we do get Sarah talking about loyalty, and David's like, ruh-roh. Yeah.
It's as good a time as any to talk about like Sarah generally as well and how she's playing, because I actually really like this from Sarah, how she's recognizing in her first season things went bad for her because she was flip-flop and she had multiple things going on. She wasn't committal to any one thing long term, and it blew up in her face. And having this connection to Kirby and being, you know what, I see Kirby as the person that I can put my trust in. And understanding, she even says that I don't want to get swept up in the orbit of David. Like playing with David is fun, but it's not gonna really benefit you if you don't do exactly what he wants you to do. Like I think this was the right decision by Sarah.
Yeah, I feel like for Sarah, the David move is fine. We'll get to the third episode, and I do feel like she probably makes the wrong choice actually in episode 3. Although I get what you're saying. Like I do think, yeah, pledging yourself to Kirby is good, but at the same time, I feel like at the next vote, at least she kind of just goes too much into doing what Kirby wants instead of making her own move. So
I'm like in between on it. I mean, I guess we'll see how it works out for her long term, but I'm sitting there because you can tell she's not really wanting to, but she obviously ends up doing it. But I think the biggest part, which I'm sure you're getting to soon, is the whole the Luke, David, Janine, and George part. Really, that part was mind-boggling me.
Yeah. So here at this point, so Luke, Janine, and David are considering, why don't we just vote Shonee out? And so they're like, we should get George because he has no other choice. So David and George go off, have a one-on-one conversation, and George is like, I want to keep the power bottoms together. I will vote Shonee if you want to. And then he asks Luke what to do, and Luke says, vote Janine. And this is a very bad misplay here. I don't know why Luke just doesn't say vote Shonee out. I feel like they absolutely should have just stuck to this instead of being blinded by wanting to get George out here.
Yeah, George calls it out in the next episode of Big Move-itis. You know, I think David needed George more than he realized, and I think he did it because I think he believed that they'd managed to get the numbers onto George. But George clearly showed when he voted for Janine, he would have wrote the name down that they said. So it all came down. They agreed to write Shonee right up until I think it was Janine or Luke that said, you know, he could be lying, and then David was like, let's just stick to the original option. But at that point, they had a plan. And they just had to put their faith in that plan. But by going back to the original option, you have no hope of winning.
Yeah.
Like, you're going back to the option that doesn't have the numbers.
Yeah, this was a bad play. Obviously, it's going to end up dooming David as Sarah votes with Kirby and Shonee, and we're going to get a tie between George and David David is going to go 3-2. So
I guess this is really where it comes to like the fast-paced game. You know what I mean? Because they definitely were thinking something along the lines of like maybe Sarah's vote's going to be the supporting factor here, or like maybe something gonna go wrong on their end, and that, you know, Luke just got George to go rogue on a rogue vote, so we're gonna have the majority or something. Because like again, like you guys just said, like they were never gonna win it with the three in theory, based off what we were seeing also. So it was just really odd. Yeah, I almost was. That's why I was commenting those four specifically also, because I'm sitting here thinking to myself, bro, Luke just like could have saved David in theory if he literally was just like, okay, Shonee, like I don't know. I guess Luke just really didn't trust George either. So I mean,
Yep. Unfortunately. So yeah, David is gonna get blindsided. He is retired, except not from hosting, because David is now officially the new host of Australian Survivor, taken over from JLP. Obviously, they announced it as soon as David got voted out. So yeah, I hate that JLP is gone. I do think I do have my reservations about David being the new host, but like, it's going to be entertaining, I still feel, but just not the same.
I'm very excited about it, since rumors are we might be getting Dirty Harry back. You know, I'll miss JLP, but if it means we get Dirty Harry, I'll take that trade.
Yeah. Austin?
Yeah, I guess just strange. He randomly just finds out about it. I mean, not the greatest move. Like, the dude's been loyal for years, and you kind of just say, contract over, buddy, see ya. So, I don't know. It's interesting. At least, I guess, in Australia's POV, like, they pick someone who's, like, kind of their, like, master class Survivor player as the host. So, I guess they have that going for him now. But I'm excited to see what he has to do. I mean, I'm always optimistic.
Yeah. All right. Well, David is gone, and let's hit our last episode of this week. And it's time to dethrone the king. Because these people will not bend their knee to the king. They will vote the king out, as we'll see.
Boy.
But let's hit the world tribe real quick, because we do have the box, and Parvati ends up finding the key. In the meantime, Lisa takes Tony to the well and is like almost pushing Tony in the well because he's trying to grab the ladle that fell in. It was one of the funniest character moments, and I'm just like, oh, Tony. I mean, I'm sure Lisa really just wanted to fully push Tony in and leave him there, but
that entire scramble is awesome, man. Like, the key's literally in plain sight, but they put it in such a crazy, like, good spot that it's like just dangling with leaves. Like, it's just so tough to like figure it out. It's just funny also watching everyone just literally walk right under it or right next to it.
At one point, it was like right next to Parvati's eye before she like went, oh.
Yeah. It was.
I mean, the scramble with Tony too, right at the end there, where is it Parvati who's sitting on the box and it's just open? I'm like, oh my fucking god, dude.
Yeah, and Tony literally just has to look and like, because you can still see under and like see that the lock is broken, I feel like. But I mean, I guess it's easy to say from the TV, and from the angle Tony was sitting, it probably isn't obvious. But
yeah. We do get the funny moment of Cirie being like, I'm too old for this shit.
Yeah.
Oh, that heart attack out here. Just getting stressed, man.
I know. Yeah, that was funny. But yeah, so the Parvati does get the box open and finds out there's an idol hidden at the podium at Tribal Council, and Palessa and Adam Klein are going to either be super frustrated or happy that the podium idol is there.
Yeah, it's a thing now. I'm all for it. And based on previews, it could lead to something crazy at the double Tribal Council. So I'm excited to see how that's going to play out.
I want to see someone run and just snatch it so bad. Like, oh my god.
Yeah. So, and then Cass finds the idol at the World Tribe, the regular idol, and finally get some Cass content. It's not too much, but at least she's there playing. And so I actually do really wonder how this is going to play out with Cass's idol.
And she makes it clear she's not just all drawn in by the All Girls Alliance. She has her own ideas of what's going to happen, and she has her worries about Parvati, as she should. I think, going into episode 3, I was like, Cass and Tommy have both been kind of non-existent, and then this episode really solidified, like, okay,
Yeah.
Cass is a player of the season now. Tommy's still just wandering around in the rocks doing whatever Tommy does. So yeah, I really like that more from Cass. I think it could lead to an interesting dynamic within the All Girls Alliance, and yeah, I love that for Cass.
Yeah. Well, let's hit the big drama, starting with this next challenge, which is holding up the bags underneath the trough of water. You get the big stuff here. You get George taunting the World Tribe. You get him blowing kisses at Tony, which George flirts with every guy apparently.
Yeah, of course he does.
It's George.
Why not?
We love you, George. So he does that. He's also like communicating with Parvati and basically annoying his tribe completely. So this is where George becomes really annoying. And then basically Sarah accidentally drops the beanbag, sandbag, and so the Aussies have to go back to tribal. And so we're going to get back to camp, and this is where we get another big scramble, and basically Shonee's wanting to get her revenge arc. We do get her name dropping both Sneaky Stevie and Sue's big move.
I got the exact quote because I was so happy. She says,
Yeah.
"Am I Stevie where he said I'll get you, Shonee, but never did? Am I literally Sue's big move?"
Yeah.
All the
Drive-by
Survivor
shooting.
kind of memes coming in at once. If only she mentioned Steve Bradbury.
Oh my God. Yeah. Well, drive-by shooting on Sneaky Stevie.
Yeah. Like he hasn't suffered enough in this game.
So that's gonna happen, and then basically we're gonna get a whole bunch of George content. George is gonna run off like Tony in Game Changers and be like, "I'm going looking for the idol," and laughing along the way as he goes looking for one. He's also eating rice and eats rice off of Kirby's face, which is kind of gross. But
oh, that was so funny.
I'm just like, okay. And then the big fun content from George is he literally goes to Janine and Luke, starts like taunting them and basically telling them that they're going home and they're going to get split on. He's like, Janine is going to get juiced, Luke is going to get liquidated, and the king is going to build his empire.
I said in our group chat that George goes mad with power despite not having any.
I love it.
Yeah, it's classic George overconfidence, but you know, George has made a career on being overconfident and it working out for him. Like, he's always been overconfident, he's always been cocky, and things go his way, so why not? And it leads to a fantastic blindside in Shawnee's revenge. So, you know, if this is how George goes out, I think story-wise, it's a pretty great little arc that George has had, and Shonee getting the revenge. I'd love to see George again just because he's content, but it's a nice 3-season arc for him.
Yeah, absolutely. He ends up falling short of 100 days here, 99 days. Yeah, because it was what 47 in the first time, 46 in the second time, and then 5 days here. So, again, we'd love to have you on the show, George. Obviously, David as well. So, I mean, any of the three of you want to come on, if you end up watching this, we'd love to obviously have you back on or have you on for the first time. So, that is the first 3 episodes of Australia versus the World. So draft check-in real quick. So Austin, you lost Rob Bentley, so you picked up Lisa on your team. Michael, you then lost the Golden God. You picked up Cass, and then Michael, you lost George. So you're down to 3, and once again, you're
the only one down. You know what? Based on the way the season's going, I'd rather have Cass right now than George. I think Cass on the team is a good addition, and we're looking at the domination of women on this season. They are taking control, and I have all women left on my team, so I'm not mad about it.
Yeah,
I like Cass for you too because she definitely has her own agenda. So like, if she's hitting merge, like she's gonna like weigh a bunch of options. So you definitely got like. I'm almost regretting it a little bit.
Yeah.
I take picking Lisa over Cass.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. We didn't know at the point that Rob went out, and we were like, we haven't gotten anything from Cass, so we didn't know that you could find the idol. So I think you made the choice best that you saw best fit with the edit that we had. So, all right. So with that, predictions for next week's episodes.
Oh my god!
Check my tag. Black Widow domination.
Yeah.
That is my predictions for the season. I don't see any other outcome. You know, if it doesn't go that way, like it's gonna be crazy. Luke has an idol. Tom, is it just Luke and Tommy left? Oh no, Tony as well. How could I forget Tony?
Yeah, Tony.
For the guys. Yeah. Yeah. I think Tony's screwed. I think Tommy's. You know, I can't imagine he's gonna get anything going. Luke's the only male player that has some life in the game. You know, he does have options, but I could just see this being an absolute decimation by the Black Widows, the new Black Widows.
Yeah. Yep. Austin?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough to tell because the people I think are gonna probably get screwed. I'm assuming this is the step right before a merge, but I mean, like, if the guys don't win their individual immunities here, I mean, they're going to be having to figure out what the hell they're doing for this vote out. I mean, maybe it's a Janine and Luke are in hot water type deal, or like Kirby might, like, I don't know, like that side of the deal. I don't know, but Tony's definitely looking like the absolute shit, like bad spot dude on the World Tribe. So, I mean, I'm definitely interested in seeing what's going to happen. I guess that's my prediction. Like a Tony, unless he wins immunity, then I think it might just be Tommy then at that point. But yeah, I definitely see a merge probably coming right after this. And yeah, pretty much girls domination. I mean, kind of going to copy Mike's argument on it because it's basically what I think. So
yeah, I'm with you guys. I think a woman definitely wins the season.
It seems statistically likely, yeah.
Statistically, yes. I think Luke, as you said, Michael, is the only guy that even has like a chance. Tommy doesn't have the edit, and Tony absolutely looks like he's screwed. So
unless Luke plays a crazy idol and we see some crazy shit go down, that'd be cool.
Yeah, I think because it is the double. I don't know who's going to win immunity, so I can't really speak to that. But I think, based on what's happening, I think Tony goes from the world, and I think that I honestly think Luke and Janine could possibly get things to shift. They can either get things to shift on Sarah or Shonee, so that's what I'm thinking. And then I mean I think Kirby is still going to be like the decision maker.
Oh,
I could see them offering up Shonee now as Kirby as an olive branch to kind of get things back on track with Sarah for sure. Or maybe, idol player, they could flip things back around, take Kirby out. You just never know.
I'd be shocked.
Yeah. I mean, what happens if Luke wins and he uses his idol on Janine and the other three try to vote for Janine? Now it's shit show blindside idol out.
Yeah, and if we lose the Godslayer right after, I mean, it literally will be the biggest bloodbath I think we've ever had in an all-star season. All right, so that is it for our week 1 Australia versus the World recap. So subscribe, like, share, comment, all that good stuff. Let us know what you think of the season so far after 3 episodes. And we're excited to continue next week into episodes 4 through 6. And we'll see you all next week for more on the Tribe of Nerds.